Hello, everybody. I'm the Vacuuminator.
I'm Buster.
And this week in Toku, we're going to be discussing Geats After Content, Kaixa Day 2023, and Garo's Deathbed. But before all that, Buster, how you doing?
It's been a very funny week. That's really all I got. Just jokes.
It's been the Buster Comedy Variety Hour over there.
Yeah, a lot of funny jokes, a lot of funny goofs and gags, I watched Romeo and Juliet Seal movie. It was all animated by one guy. Came out in 2006.
Okay. All right. Well, that's an experience.
Yeah, well, how was your day?
It's been all right. I've been getting through it. Generally, a positive vibe going this week, actually, because the fucking fall weather is here finally, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on the podcast before. I probably have, given that we've already been running for a couple of years now. But like, fall is definitively my favorite season, just because I like cool weather, but I don't like cold weather. So
Yeah.
getting weather where it's like I could wear either shorts or pants and still be comfortable. Oh man, that's my shit right there. Also, I really like apple cider, and I strongly feel, much like pumpkin spice, apple cider should be contained to the fall months.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I had a glass of apple cider with my din din, and it was delicious. But you know what else is delicious? The sweet, sweet taste of engaging with the algorithm. So, if you are enjoying this podcast, if you listen to This Week in Toku every week, well, go ahead and help the show grow and find more audience members through the YouTube algorithm. Give us a like, comment down below, subscribe, and click that bell to enable notifications and be notified of whenever we release a new episode of This Week in Toku or any of the other projects we do here at Modular Media, like this Friday, where we're going to be doing a live stream watch along live reaction thing to Hasbro PulseCon, the premier event in Hasbro's streaming calendar. That's basically a mini toy fair. It's coming up this Friday. It's going to be myself, Boingo Rider, two friends of the channel, Tim Shields of Xi Enterprise America, and Wasp Ranger, aka Wyatt of It's Only Magic. It's going to be a bunch of white boys on a call screaming about newly announced plastic collectibles for like 4 or 5 hours. So you know you're going to want to be around for that. So click that bell, make sure you know right when we go live, and yeah, speaking of being notified about stuff right when it happens, let's get into the news. Buster, are you ready for some news?
Hell yeah, give me the news.
All right, first news, we got some Boonboomger rumors floating around, one of which is just a bit of an elaboration on what we talked about with the trademark last week, that people are kind of theorizing the gimmick for the mecha toy line next year is going to be two vehicles crashing into each other to form a single robot. Could be interesting, could be fun. I really don't have much more to say on it than I did last week, but we also now have a rumor on what the Henshin device is going to be. It's going to be a turning Blazar brace-like device with versatile lighting, and it's going to be similar in quality to other recent LED-heavy Bandai transformation toys. So think like the laser driver or the Demon's driver, but on your wrist probably.
Yeah, they really like that LED technology.
I mean, it allows them to do cool stuff without putting a bunch of parts into the toy, but it's also expensive enough that they can still justify a high price.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. I'll be interested to see what it actually looks like, what kind of doodads go in that wrist changer. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and put a bit of a pause on the Boonboomger talk and get into some Godzilla talk, because Tamashii Nations announced a re-release special color version of the SH Monster Arts Space Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. Specifically, this is meant to depict how he looked during the final battle of the movie, and it looks pretty good for a figure of that design in the SH Monster Arts line. Is about as nice as I can be about it.
I love this design.
You're a Space Godzilla guy?
I've actually never seen Space Godzilla like this before, and I'm like, ooh, Ooh,
Mm.
I like that. I like the crown. I love the crystal crown. I love the crystals all over the back. It's gaudy in all the ways that make me happy.
Yeah, he's even got alternate crystals to depict them being broken, so I'm guessing that's a thing that happens in the movie.
Yeah, this is like what the movie's called, Godzilla versus Space Godzilla.
Yeah, it's literally just called Godzilla versus Space Godzilla, which
I will put that high on my list because I like this design.
yeah, it's not the worst kaiju suit I've ever seen from a Toho movie, but it's not exactly the most exciting to me. I don't know. It just kind of seems like the typical '90s answer to how do we take something to the next level? Space.
Well, hey, I like that answer.
That's fair. But you know what is not fair?
Kaixa?
Kamen Rider Kaixa. He's a very unfair individual. That's a well-known trait about him. So much so that we have a whole holiday for him as a fandom, us Kamen Rider enjoyers. We have Kaixa Day, which happens on the uh, 13th of September every year, correct?
Yes, because it's
Yes.
913. He inputs
Yeah, it's
into
based
his
off
phone.
of the button combo he does to transform. And we missed it by just one day in last week's episode. I did mean to mention it, but it just kind of slipped my mind while we were recording. But nevertheless, Kaixa Day did happen, and I hope you all celebrated properly. Buster, did you betray a friend for Kaixa Day?
No, but someone put out a video essay on Kaixa, and it was pretty solid.
Oh man, well, I don't know about you, but I was just going around delivering all kinds of dick kicks. I was doing Kusaka proud.
What, did you go to prison?
No, they never catch me. It's like, that's the thing about being a Kamen Rider fan on Kaixa Day. It's like a get out of jail free card. Trust me, everybody. Just try it next year. Do something
I
horrible and say, "Hey, it's Kaixa Day. I get a free one."
was it like the Purge?
Yes, Kaixa Day is the purge for Kamen Rider fans. That's exactly the joke I'm making. Anyway, let's get into the fucking Kaixa Day announcements. First and foremost was Toei announced, hey, Kaixa is going to be in the Faiz 20th anniversary movie, and he's getting a new suit. Next Kaixa looks a lot like Next Faiz, but Kaixa. It's exactly what you'd expect it to be. He's got the big dumb chest logo that looks like a Phillips head instead of a flathead screw, and he's got upgraded version of his weapon that's like what is that? What is that kind of weapon called? Like a tonfa? Like a tonfa
Yeah,
version of
Tonfa.
his sword?
He got two of them.
Yeah. And it looks decent. Like I said, with the Faiz design, I don't hate this design, but I'm not in love with it either. I'm just more so interested in, okay, he's in the movie. What bullshit are they going to pull to bring him back?
Yeah, exactly. Because in either continuity of Faiz, that man is well, not around, shall we say?
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, good for that actor. Still getting some work. Good for Bandai. Still having some toys to sell. So hopefully that all goes well.
I wonder if they're gonna do next Delta.
Ooh. And he has like one of those like screws with the triangle shape on his chest.
Maybe.
You know those screws that you'd only like see on McDonald's toys as a kid?
Yeah. Maybe we'll see. We'll see.
Oh man, but that's not the only Kaixa Day announcement we got from Toei, because they also announced that there's going to be a prequel special on the Toei Tokusatsu fan club called, I believe it's Fai's Murder Case.
Yep.
And it's heavily advertising, hey, it's going to star Kusaka. This might actually be where they put the explanation for how he comes back, and in the movie he's just there.
Yeah, this will be like the Birth X special of the V-Cinema.
Yeah.
Remember how like we had a birth special that explained Birth X, and then like in the movie
and it was
just kinda
better
showed up?
than the actual movie.
I can even if I like the movie, I can kind of agree the Birth X special was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm very excited about this because, like, as I've talked before, I have a weird relationship with Faiz. I love the suit designs from the show, and I enjoy Kusaka. Ironically, just like watching out of context clips of him is really fun to me. But the actual show, I watched like the first 20-25 episodes a few years ago, and I found it insufferable. So, like, there's a part of me that's kind of going like, oh man, this anniversary content looks fun. I kind of want to power through the rest of Faiz before it comes out, so I can watch this when it comes out.
I mean,
But
you
then
are
there's
watching Agito, so
yeah,
after Agito, you could just go to the next Anue Rider show.
I could do that, but there's also a part of me that goes am I just going to be arguing with Buster for 20 minutes at the end of TWIT for a few weeks?
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, that might be a thing that happens, but a thing that's definitely happened is the fandom has done a lot of good helping out Junya Ikeda. Because he recently posted a photo. I think he actually posted it the day we put out last week's episode of all the letters he's gotten just in the first batch. Literally a pile of letters, and he's also posted a message with that photo saying, "The letters keep coming in. I want to absorb every word and make them part of me. Thank you so much." So clearly, this is a really nice, really strong, positive moment. I'm unusually proud of the Tokusatsu fandom this week.
Well, that's the Japanese side, not the American side, probably.
Yeah, but I like to imagine one or two English fans sent in a letter, though it'd probably take longer to get to him. And speaking of shit taking a while to get to us, hey, Team Rider announced that there is a new Premium Bandai US store page open for the specific Narikiri World brand, which, as I understand it, is basically just Bandai's specific brand for marketing their products to older fans.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. I'm not a Bandai.
Yeah, there's some stuff up there you might want to get. It's all fairly reasonably priced because it is coming direct from the manufacturer, but it's also they've got a bunch of CSM Gaim stuff that's been out forever, and they've got most of the Geats DX toy line, and I'm all that stuff's on sale on a lot of the online retailers that still have it in stock now. I don't know how well that's gonna sell. I guess if you don't have frickin' propeller and drill raise buckles, you can snag them up for $10 here, but why would you? Anyway, oh yes, this is exciting. So I normally don't cover fan content here, but it was recently announced via a new group of fans that came into prominence recently that they are doing a HD fan remaster of the PS1 or PS2, excuse me, game Kamen Rider Genealogy of Justice, which is a crossover between Rider 1 and Agito that I believe was put out when Agito was still on the air, right?
Yeah, okay, I've got to explain Genealogy of Justice. If you want to learn more, YouTuber Civet did a pretty cool video review of it recently. But actually, it's not just Rider 1. It has Ichigo, Nigo, V3, Black, and Agito, as they all in their own timelines trying to prevent something. So it's all 5 of those characters are there. Basically got the first 3, the fan favorite, and the current hotness, which is pretty cool.
And it's just kind of like a general action adventure game.
Yeah, very much like Resident Evil.
I had never heard of this game before last week, but I did a cursory glance at the wiki article, and I watched the demo video they put out, which we'll have linked in the video description along with all the other news links. And man, I would have loved this as a kid, because this is exactly the slightly janky but still charmingly accurate PS2 game I was into as a kid. This puts me in the mind of the Transformers Armada video game.
Yeah, it's very much in the style of those. I really love PS2 soulful jank. So if this gets this game still doesn't have an English patch. But I really hope an English patch comes along with its HD patch, so we could all have fun playing the game. And I also, what mainly impresses me about the game, they got all the facial actors to likeness of the facial actors really well done.
For
the time. They got Shuichi, Kokotaro. It's yeah.
Yeah, and I especially love watching this just because it's like you get to see fucking Shoichi have a conversation with a shocker kaijin, which is one of the most surreal things I've seen in a minute, and is oddly like on point for me watching both of those shows right now.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so if anything, at least check out this video just to see that. But I don't know. Hopefully that comes out and Bandai Namco doesn't do any chicanery to try and stop it, and hopefully it gets an English patch because I wouldn't mind at least giving it a shot one night.
Yeah.
But
And like, or just we play it at a modular summit altogether.
oh hell yeah, that'd be great. Do like just one night we all just settle down on a couch and do a full playthrough.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be fun. But what else is fun is getting spoilers for the show via toys. And hey, somebody went to that big Bandai event from a couple weeks ago where they had all the new Kyoryu anniversary toys on display, and they managed to record all of the demo sounds out of the King Kyoryu Red Calibur, and it sounds about like you'd expect. There's really no new sounds. It's just mixing sounds from the Gabu revolver and the what's it called, the King-Ohger sword. It's mixing them together to make a new transformation sound and some attacks for Daigo.
I think the King Kyoryujin is new. Like, I think they actually got the actor who did the Kyoryuger sounds back in the booth to do a couple new lines. Yeah. Shall we go on to the actual kind of concerning merchandising news?
Yeah, so in the last couple of days we've gotten some updates on the complete style gigantic Garo Ken. Mainly that they put out a demo video for it, advertising that this thing does actually have sound functionality, and it's got pretty much every sound you could possibly want from a Garo roleplay toy. It has a couple different slashing sounds. It has a sound based on when he lights it on fire. It has the freaking counter. It's got a couple of different voice phrases from Koga. So even though this thing is ridiculous, like, it's huge, it's unwieldy, it's going to be hard to display, and it costs a pretty chunk of change. Like, I can't remember if we said the price last week, if that had been announced yet. Yeah, it's $320 to order it here in the US. And it does seem like they're trying to put a lot of bang for your buck into it, which I do appreciate, but also there's a little interview promotional blurb that Keita Amemiya did to go along with this video, and he ends it by saying, there aren't many Garo products on the market right now, but if this product does well, something might change. So I'm hoping the best for Garo. If you want to as well, please consider purchasing. Which is a kind of a concerning thing to hear, because if you've listened to this podcast for any length of a time, you've heard me say every couple of months, man, I wish there was a Garo show on. I really wish we had a new Garo show going to talk about on this podcast, because I really like Garo, but I also acknowledge, like, Garo is very antithetical to what makes tokusatsu work. It's very untoyetic, and the toys it does get is extremely expensive collector merch like this, and that's because the way Garo stayed funded for a long time was through pachinko machines. They had a very lucrative licensing deal with a pachinko company, but the pandemic kind of killed pachinko as a hobby in Japan. It has come back some since, but not enough to, like, support an entire franchise again. And so clearly this sword, this big expensive roleplay toy, is being done as somewhat of a Hail Mary to get some gas behind Garo again. And this quote makes me think, okay, if this sells well, they might do another show, and if they do another show, they're going to retool the Garo formula to be more toyetic so that they can fund it the traditional way with tokusatsu. And honestly, I don't know if I want that. Like, if this is what we have to do to make Garo survive, maybe it's time to let go, man. I hate to say that. I know it's Keita Amemiya's baby, and it's a good fucking franchise. There's only a couple of shows in it I don't like, but It's also it's the only tokusatsu series where I've seen almost every series. The only ones I haven't seen are the two Zero shows. But I don't know. I don't. This doesn't make me feel good, fam. Not a good vibe going.
Yeah, I just like it. Just reminds me of like what Nintendo and Capcom do with like re-releases or side games. Like I
Yeah.
mentioned that before, where it's like they do like the Capcom test. Oh, buy the 50th re-release of Darkstalkers in order to get a new one, and then we didn't, and now we're never getting a new Darkstalker.
Mhm. Or like when Hasbro did a mask character in the GI Joe 25th anniversary line, and there was this vague buzz at the time of like, oh, if this sells well, they'll bring back Mask as like a subdivision of GI Joe, and that never happened.
Yeah, it. I don't know what's the future of Garo, man. I mean, there is that concert we're gonna talk about, but like,
Yeah. Also this week, Jam Project announced they're doing a concert where they're just going to do all of their Garo songs.
yeah, which like could end it by playing the new theme for a potential new show, but also that's like big hopium I'm sniffing.
Yeah, and
Uh,
honestly, I would fucking love to go to that because all of their Garo music and all of the Garo music in general fucking rips.
yeah,
But I obviously I don't live in Japan, and this also like feels like it could potentially be a last hurrah.
yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Like if it's not like too much of a retool, I would certainly be ecstatic to see Garo come back. But there's also just like a lot of trepidation. It feels right now.
Yeah,
But what there isn't trepidation for is Godzilla. Godzilla is a franchise that is up and running again, baby. We got a new movie on the horizon, and Godzilla Minus One is going to have a runtime of 2 hours and 5 minutes, according to new Japanese theater listings.
does
So
this make it the longest Godzilla film?
I have no fucking idea.
What? Let me look up what is the longest Godzilla film.
Watch it be fucking King of the
It. Yeah,
Monsters.
you were right. Minus One is the longest Japanese film, only rivaled by Final Wars.
Wow.
So yeah, I still gotta watch Final Wars. I watched the movie by a director of Final Wars, Versus, and that was really good. So I kind of want to watch Final Wars now because I really like Versus.
Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully this movie's good. Hopefully it's worth 2 hours and 5 minutes of my life. But
Yeah,
we'll find out come December.
yeah.
Anyways, let's move on to some Super Sentai news because, as was teased a few weeks ago, the next Shodo Super release is going to be Chojin Sentai Jetman. They are doing, of course, the full team as a box set. They're going to come with all kinds of alternate hands, all the various modes of their weapons, alternate wing packs to show them flying, and the big fuck off go kart cannon from the show.
Would it be a 90s, 80s Sentai without it?
Yeah. For Shotos, these look pretty good. I'm still not huge into this line because it's a little too small for my taste and the joints really aren't hidden well. But like I can't deny if you want a comprehensive figure release for Super Sentai team, especially like an older Super Sentai team, you can't go wrong with Shoto. I mean,
Are
figure
Shotos
arts.
build? Or do you have to build Shotos, or are they
I
just?
think you might have to sticker some of the weapons, but I'm pretty sure the figures come pre-built.
Ooh, I might look into these then.
Yeah. And I mean, they've already done a number of teams, so a lot of people are fully into collecting this line and swear by it over, say, Lightning Collection and other things. And I mean, like, this is certainly a better offering than SH Figuarts because, lest we forget, SH Figuarts released Red and Black to tie in with their appearance on Akiba Ranger, and in that episode of Akiba Ranger, teased the rest of the team and then never fucking released them.
Ooh,
So,
they did a Gokaiger release of Shotos. I know we covered that before, but I'm just saying.
oh yeah, that's also like the most comprehensive Gokaiger figure release because it's the only articulated figure release that has Gokai Cross.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. The like Shoto does seem to be getting better and better and more tempting with each release, but I still haven't quite cracked on it yet, especially because the set is going to be releasing in March of next year and is going to run you approximately $63 USD. But
Big
that's
Bad
honestly, that's
Big Bad
not.
Toy Store has it for 130.
Yeah, it's because Big Bad Toy Store does stupid markups on import stuff.
Okay.
You want to go to like Toku Lectables or Taka or sometimes Entertainment Earth will get stuff for a better price than Big Bad Toy Store, but it's kind of a
Dang it,
50-50.
Collectibles has it for 110.
Oof. Well, the suggested retail price is 9,350 yen, which roughly converts to $64 USD. So I don't know where these people are getting a $100 price tag from, but I mean, like, it seems like a pretty solid set, so
Yeah.
the choice is yours, dear listener. Just like the choice to check out after content for any given series you may or may not have enjoyed. And Kamen Rider Geats is getting a lot of it in the coming days and weeks because the Toei Tokusatsu Fan Club special has released all of the bloopers and deleted scenes from the show, and have also done like a special based around showing clips of that stuff called the Geats Extra Emergency Special Program, which essentially seems to be like a clip show bottle episode starring some of the side characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the same time, they're also releasing behind the scenes footage for Tycoon meets Shinobi, especially focusing on the return of Zekross's actor.
Yeah, that'll actually be interesting to see with all the crossover stuff. Like,
Yeah. But our final news story for this week is, and this just happened a couple hours ago as of this recording. We may have a full reveal by the time this podcast comes out, so be sure to check out Super 7's social media because they are teasing the next wave of Godzilla Ultimates, and that it will be characters from the Showa era.
okay.
Yeah. Like I've kind of lost track of this line because apparently the first two figures weren't actually that good. The Godzilla was like severely limited and like the detail was off compared to some other ones on the market. So I kind of tuned out of it, and I don't even remember what wave we're on now. I think this is either like 4 or 5, but I'm not sure. We'll talk about whatever the actual official announcement is next week, though. For now, that's all the news that's fit to print. So, Buster, why don't you take us on to the new releases?
Oh boy, you ready for some peak? We got the good shit this week. Ultraman Blazar episode 10, Parent and Child. This one hard.
This one, so fucking hard. This is one of the best episodes of Ultraman. Nay, one of the best episodes of Tokusatsu I have seen in
Ooh.
years. I
Yes.
fucking loved this episode.
Yeah, it builds on what the last episode set up with the whole like Blazar is taking over the angle.
And it's also our first window into what Gento's home life is really like, and there's just a regular ass family. He's not even like bringing the fact that he's a military man home with him. He is just coming home and being dad, doing the dishes, checking in on the boy, and it's really sweet and it's really nice, and it really gives you an insight into why he acts the way he does when it comes to commanding his team.
Yeah. And
But-
then like the fight scene at the end.
Oh my god, that's skipping way ahead, but yeah, some magnificent suit acting this
Yeah.
week with like it's a common trope to show a character fighting with themselves by showing like their hand attacking them and them having to hold it back, but like it's almost always like cheesy and overdone and not quite convincing. Not in this episode. This episode I fully bought that like half of Blazar, the half that is Gento, was rebelling against himself and saying like, no, we need to be better than this. We can't just destroy this thing because it's a problem. We've got to find somewhere else for it to go where it won't be a problem. And that's overall why I was so impressed by this episode, because it felt like Taguchi was going, wait, hold the fuck up. Actually, I don't think we did the right thing. We sent the right message with that arc back in Zet. Ultraman should be able to find another way around a problem like this. And he fucking does. He gets the monster and the babby out of there. And that was really cool to see, especially because it like cements even more what they've been building subtly throughout the show of like Blazar is helping the GGF, but they are going to the way he's helping is putting him in direct opposition with them.
Yeah, because like even like I don't know, maybe it's Gento's heart that's like getting, because Blazar like always struck me as the more feral of the two, between like especially in the first episode where we just see Blazar just complete, probably I don't know, and just a lot of headcanon right now, but like what Blazar always strikes me as the more ferocious, like he'll be able to take down the kaiju, but as we see Gento grow more accustomed, we see more peaceful solutions to it all. Is what I'm thinking. Maybe they'll get confirmed later, but yeah, that's just how I'm viewing it. Where it's
Yeah.
like Gento is showing humanity to Blazar,
Yeah.
and that's showcasing in the fights, where it's like there's more peaceful solutions to the battles.
Yeah, I also really like the subtle bits of comedy with him trying to coordinate the team while also keeping secrets from his family. Like that
Yeah,
that felt very like realistically awkward as opposed to like overly exaggeratedly awkward. And speaking of surprisingly realistic, kudos to whoever actually directed this episode. I don't know if it was Taguchi or someone else directed this one. And the actual kid playing Gento's kid, this is the most realistic feeling child I've ever seen in Tokusatsu.
yeah. Even like in the dub, it was pretty well done in my opinion.
I actually felt the dub actor sounded like they were phoning it in a bit, but like the actual Japanese kid playing Gento's kid, like there was just something about them where they were never like squinting their eye and being all cute and just like shouting their lines. It was like how a kid would actually talk to their parent in a slightly dangerous situation. It really felt like this is a real family dynamic I'm seeing, right down to like the kind of way the mom is like deferring to Gento, but she'll also call him out for doing stupid or weird shits.
Yeah, I'm looking at who directed the episode so we can have their name. Tomono Tomonobu Koshi.
All right,
Directed this
shout
episode.
outs to you, sir. You are good at working with child actors.
Yeah, and
I'm
he's
guessing.
yeah, yeah, he's directed basically ever since Taiga, an episode or two here and there of every Ultra series. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this was the strongest episode of Blazar so far. The series only continues to get better so far. We still got a ways to go. We haven't even reached the halfway point of the series
Yeah.
yet,
We're
but
about to.
yeah, but I'm enjoying it so far. Blazar has been consistently either solid or impressive, and like that's about as much as I can ask for a Toku.
Yeah, and
It
like
can
based
always
on
be
the
better than that, but that's as much as I'll ask.
yeah. But like even like the preview and the ending of the episode implies, oh, the GGF is gonna get like a bit more hands on, a bit more angry at Blazar, which is
Yeah,
interesting. Which I that's exciting. Like it's like they're doing this very like these episodes are still self contained, but they always leave little hooks and like moments to be like this flows into the next very seamlessly.
yeah, and the episodes still manage to feel fairly episodic. It's a thematic continuation rather than a
Yeah.
straight up story cliffhanger serialization.
Yeah. I also liked when Blazar yelled. That was really cool.
Yeah,
That's
Blazar
a
yells
very
good.
striking, yeah, very striking image they do. They're just really, the suit actor for Blazar is doing like fantastic work in the
Mhm.
show. Just in general, like every episode. And this episode was like, yeah, keep this guy around for future stuff. Uh,
Definitely.
yeah, I think that's it. Do you want to talk about superhero time?
Sure, we can do that.
Yeah, Kamen Rider Gutchard, episode 3, Bushido watching.
Um, I thought this episode was pretty solid. I liked most of what was going on. I felt like this was a solid introduction of a rival character. The only real problem I had with it is just like I don't know about you, but I feel like at least so far a lot of these side characters feel pretty superfluous. Like the other two students at the Alchemist Academy,
They need a
that
focus episode.
yeah, and like I know we're only 3 episodes in, so I'm trying not to get too up in arms about it, but I am like, all right, You teased them twice, you gave them an introduction here like they were about to have a focus episode, and then they just disappeared for the rest of the episode. And then there's the fucking, like, supernatural otaku friend guy who literally has just done the same thing every week so far. And I'm kind of getting sick of it.
Well, like, I actually appreciate that he's sticking around, because usually Ryder would normally abandon that kind of character for, like, multiple episodes. And, like, yeah, there's still side characters. It's not, like, all important. Like, no, there's just side characters who are just bumming around, and just to give the world more texture, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's a fair argument, though. Like, you gotta understand, this is also coming from me, the guy who's like, hey, Wizard's a personal favorite of mine, but I fucking hate Shunpei. He's a totally superfluous character. You could get rid of him and just give a couple of his traits to Rinko or Koyomi, and the show would be basically unchanged.
I heavily disagree, but, yeah, I don't know. But, like, yeah, I do like the debut of the new Bushido form. That was pretty fun to see.
Yeah, that actually looked pretty solid in motion, and I liked the way Hataro wins him over.
Yeah, also, seeing the Valvard, speaking of seeing suits in motion, seeing the Valvard suit in motion, I like the helmet a lot. Like, actually seeing close-ups of the helmet, I'm like, ooh, that's a good helmet. Like,
yeah, I feel the exact opposite. I don't. Valvard is from a school of design that I don't personally care for. It's like the same thing as Machine Chaser. When I look at a suit like that, I get the same feeling that, like, older Transformers fans get from the Michael Bay designs, where I'm like, this just looks like you stuck parts on in a weird way that kind of looks like a suit, but not quite.
well, like, assuming Valvard does become a proper rider later, this is supposed to be, like, his incomplete form.
When he becomes a rider and his suit gets all cleaned up, I'm sure I'll at least kind of like it. But right now, I'm just like, this shit is ugly for ugly's sake, and I'm waiting for this edgelord to get his act together.
Yeah, but I actually kind of liked how, like, we didn't see, like, he just kind of teased Valvard's existence, and we're gonna flesh that out more next episode and the following episodes, which, you know, like, the show's, like, doing a great job of just teasing elements, like, giving you enough to be like, okay, I get what you're going for, but I still want to see more, instead of just, here's everything at once, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, even though I don't love his suits, I will say, like, like, the suit is a minor problem for me. His character is somewhat engaging. I like the whole scene of him trying to take the belt from Hataro. I thought that was a good establishment of their dynamic. The only, like, real problem I had with him this week is just like, does his fucking toy need to be a gun too? It's already a big cool sword. Why you gotta put a gun on that shit?
Well, it's like, have you ever played Final Fantasy VIII? Gunsword, cool.
Buster, no, I'm not a fucking weeb gamer. I don't know. Episode was fine.
Yeah, episode was fun. Probably, like, the weakest of everything this week, but still pretty fun.
Oh no.
Oh god, I knew you would hate this episode, but I liked it anyway. Osama Sentai King-Ohger, episode 29, Unfit to be King.
So what the fuck is happening in this show anymore? Because I feel like we are just constantly trying to do big bombastic things in order to bide our time until Daigo gets here.
I disagree. I think, because the idea is, like, in universe, Jeremy has been king for a while, and now that we're, like, focusing on characters again, like, we've spazzed out that time, like, they're trying to basically be like, hey, the peace can't only last, and they have to, like, freaking do, like, the Ragnarok and versus human agenda must continue because the story's not over.
I just inherently hate that. I'm sorry. I'm like, you wrapped that up a couple episodes ago, and then you went out of your way in the last 2 episodes to show that, like, the people of Terra had truly changed and accepted the Ragnarok, and now we're just going back to the same shit we were doing. Or at least we're gonna pretend like that is. And, like, I could kind of stomach this if it was like, oh, Jeremy's actor had another project he wanted to do, or they needed to make room for Daigo, so they wrote him out. But motherfucker is in the next time preview. So he's not gone. He's just, like, he's publicly gone. And I don't really care for that. It seems like extra drama guff that you're stacking on what is already a pretty decent premise for the rest of the show.
Yeah, like, I need to see where they go with it. Like I need to I want to see the full picture of what they're cooking there. I liked the episode. But it was the first time we got to see King-Ohger without the king crown for a while, which is
True.
interesting.
It also just real quick, because this is like a minor thing, but this is something I realized before Jeremy even became like the main character of the episode. I realized like since they defeated Death Narok, we have seen no other Bug Narok besides Jeremy, his retainer, and the moves. And I'm like, are you just not going to make any more suits? Are we just to believe that like there's other Bug Narok off in the background? Because that's extraordinarily cheap.
I don't know. I mean, like Jeremy's kingdom is already pretty cheap looking compared to all the other ones. It's just like one room.
Oh yeah, I love that we finally see his throne room this week just for him to get fucking disgraced.
I mean, we already saw his throne room in the first time skip episode.
Did we? I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, he got his ass beat.
Oh yeah. I will say I do really like the villain this week. I think like the voice actress is clearly having a lot of fun. And I think I recognize her from something. I think she might have been in G-Witch.
Let me check.
I meant to look it up, but I watched the episodes at like 1 a.m. last night, so I wanted to go to bed as soon as I was done.
Let me look up who voiced this character. Cast. What was the character's name?
Oh, I do not remember.
I'm just gonna look. I found the character. It was Hebe Leech, Miyuki Sawashiro. I'm just looking up what. She's been in Sentai before, as like in like just bit parts. She was Kivala.
Oh, well, that might be what I recognize her from then.
Also, the Japanese voice of Cammy.
Huh.
I don't have time to go through all the roles, but yeah, you recognize her. Anyway. Yeah. I thought the episode was fine. I just I'm waiting a bit more to see where they go with this plot line. I know.
Yeah, it's weird. King-Ohger right now feels like it keeps trying to do big bombastic shakeups, and I'm like, dog, I just want to get my footing. I want to live in a status quo for a few minutes. Can we do that?
I don't know. I feel like it's more of a Geats problem. It was a Geats problem more than like a King-Ohger problem, but I get you.
I'd kind of disagree with that, because Geats would like transition into a new status quo, and then we'd get a couple episodes living in it before we built to a crescendo there. Maybe the ending was a little too bombastic, but I don't know. This ain't a fucking Geats spoiler cast.
Anyway, yeah, that's all I got. Episode was fine. Yeah.
Not my favorite, but also like not the worst thing I've ever seen.
I was too busy watching the F-Zero anime because I lost a bet, so you talk about your things.
Damn. How dare you? How dare you gamble on Kaixa Day? How dare you gamble on our holiest of holy days?
You literally made a point about how unholy the holiday is. Get consistent. Get consistent, man.
Hey, it's a sacred holy day for Kamen Rider fans, and for everybody else, it's the day when you get kicked in the dick.
Okay.
It's a simple philosophy here. Anyway, I watched 3 more episodes of 1971, episodes 87, 88, and 89. They were pretty good. Actually, some kind of creative and different plots this time around. There's one where like there's a murder mystery involving a guy delivering ominous messages to people right before they get killed. There's one about a monster disguising itself as a black cat in paintings. And then one I watched today was actually really interesting because it starts off as just like a simple episode as these people being targeted via like a monster that can turn into canaries, and then it like evolves into no, there's multiple ones of them, there's a pandemic of these things running across Japan, and Ryder has to ride around and fight them all, and then a completely different monster shows up in the last 5 minutes and it's a cliffhanger. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. They've never done anything like that before, so I'm interested to see where that goes when I watch the next episode tomorrow. But that's basically all I have to say. Hopefully Hayato shows up soon, because there's like 10 episodes left of this shit. Anyways, watched a few more episodes of Agito as well, episodes 6 through 9. I'm still really digging it, man. I love how it's basically free shows for the price of one. Each writer has their own like very specific circumstance and cast of characters that they're dealing with, and they'll just kind of like slightly intermingle from time to time, and everything is really engaging and fun, and it feels so much more like a complete show than anything I've ever seen from Inoue. I almost wonder if he had like somebody heavily collaborating with him here, or like Toei had like a tighter grip on this show than they had on his other Rider shows, because like we've talked about, like, this is the first show he head wrote, but it really doesn't feel like anything I've ever read by him. Like, there was even a point in, like, I want to say episode 7, where I thought he was going to do the character falls into water and remembers something thing. And he didn't. The character just fell in the water and was like, that was fucked. And I was like, whoa, what? And like he's even kind of avoiding like traumatic memories coming out. He's trying to wait as long as he can for that, it feels like, because like there's a whole plot going on right now, the episode I'm on, of Shoichi being like, I don't actually want to know what my past is, because for all I know it's really fucked up. I'm gonna kind of just avoid meeting people from my past, and everybody else is in the house is going like, dude, you can't stay here and be our maid forever. You gotta like move on with your life. And it's interesting to see a writer being presented with that kind of conflict.
Yeah, Agito's a very slow burn, but I think it's ultimately worth it. It is acquired taste for a reason, I will say.
Yeah. Also, just I'm enjoying Hikawa and Hojo's fucking rivalry dynamic.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
I love how Hojo is just like a less hammy version of fucking Nira from Drive.
Yeah. Okay, now they actually got like a bit further. What do you think about Gills so far?
Gills is really interesting. He kind of feels like the template for Chalice, but like in a good way. It's just like, oh, I'm seeing the first attempt at this story, and it's still pretty competent. I like this guy kind of just going through this horrific ordeal of, oh no, I'm a monster mash. What am I going to do with my life now? And everybody around him is either like shunning him or dying. And it's very like, it's probably the most melodramatic thing in the show, but it never feels like it never feels like it's wringing those emotions out of you. It all feels earned, and like this is the natural next place we go to. Like, oh, his girlfriend shows up, he tries to lean on her for support, she tries to leave him, and then she ends up fucking dying because of Monster Mash shit. And it's all very sad, and you feel for Ryu. He feels very much like he was a person before all this. He had things he wanted to do, and this Kamen Rider nonsense is totally fucking up his life.
Yeah, it's one of it's probably the part of the show that stands out most to me, honestly. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying Agito. I honestly did not expect you to enjoy it, but I'm glad you are.
I mean, it really does feel like just the natural evolution of where you go from Rider as a franchise after a show like Kuga, which I really appreciate, because I knew Agito was a spiritual sequel to Kuga, and I had avoided watching it for a long time because I was like, well, if that's the only other way I'll get the Kuga feel, I want to wait until like I really need that in my life again. And this sub just kind of got dropped on all our laps. But it's also like it has its own distinct feel that like iterates on the ideas that Kuga presented, and I'm really enjoying that. It doesn't just feel like Kuga again.
Yeah.
But
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's all my old stuff. I didn't get any Tokusatsu toys this week, so fucking Buster, where are you on the internet?
I'm on YouTube at Buster Corp. I just uploaded the Kamen Rider X video, so check that out.
That was really good. Also, the best title in the history of internet video essays.
Oh, really? Thank you. I did it because I just felt like I need to clickbait somebody today.
I saw that and I was like, yes, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I did know what I was doing. So yeah, check that video out. I'm also at Blue Sky at Buster Corp. You can find me easily. I don't think there's many Busters on Blue Sky yet.
Yeah, we're probably gonna get a flood of them.
Yeah, especially because every like it feels like every other week new fellas come on Blue Sky. So come on down to Blue Sky if you got an invite code. So
Yeah, I mean we got codes. Fucking
yeah,
Modular and I, both those accounts have 2 codes waiting to be used. So hit us up if you need it. Honestly,
yeah, like freaking come to Boingo's Discord and just be like, "Vac, give me a code."
yeah, and I'll be like, I'm at work, bitch. Give me 4 hours.
Yeah. I mean, I have a Discord too that I occasionally share around, so just look out for that link on the YouTube community tab and stuff.
Yeah. And speaking of the YouTube community tab, that's something I've been trying to use more on over on youtube.com at the Vacuuminator, which is where I post my videos, which are things that I'm kind of proud of sometimes. You can go ahead and check all that out. You can also check out clips of my older videos on TikTok at _Vacuuminator, and you can type that username into the search bar on Instagram to find the page where I post daily action figure photography. I'm also on Blue Sky at thevacuuminator.bsky.social, aggregating all my content and posting random thoughts throughout the day. And I'm also on Tumblr, thevacuuminator.tumblr.com, doing the Tumblr version of that. Yeah, that's all the linking we got to do this week. So thank you so much for joining us this week in Tokusatsu, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned some things about yourself and the world. And we hope to see you back here next week for whatever happens that week in Tokusatsu.